Nothing but blue skies over Lambeau. We'll get you ready for the Rams and the Packers. Absolutely incredible weather here today in Green Bay. Currently 69 temperatures. Will get near 80 as we send it downstairs. Check in with Evan Washburn. Evan?
Well, and of all the strengths Aaron Rodgers has as a quarterback, the one that opposing coaches and players seem to discuss most when facing him at home is his cadence, that hard count he uses to try and draw a defense off sides, and that's just as he like it. He told us yesterday the more they talk about it, the more they plan for it, the more they'll be thinking about it, and he feels like that slows them down, which at times is better than drawing them off sides, guys.
It's been a huge part of the early season for Rodgers and the Packers. They've hit on a number of free plays because of that hard count. Rams won the toss. They will receive. Mason Crosby will kick it off to Benny Cunningham. He's the deep man for St. Louis. Lambeau Field on a Sunday afternoon. Where else would you want to be? The NFL on CBS will underway. Crosby kicks it through the back of the end zone, and the Rams will have it at the 20-yard line, coming off that 24-22 win in Arizona. Nick Foles last week against the Cardinals. Big effort. 3 touchdowns in that victory.
He told us yesterday he's aware of the need for him to play smart, not force the ball into coverage that might lead to a pick in a short field for the Pack. With the emergence of Todd Gurley, though, Foles will be looking to run the offense efficiently, taking time off the clock and keeping Rodgers and company on the sidelines.
Matt Foles has been terrific in his career on the road. 32 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. 1st and 10 from the 20. First play from scrimmage for St. Louis. On a give. Gurley. The acceleration, he picks up a couple. Julius Peppers, first man there. It's a 2-yard gain. Starting offense for the Rams. Couple of rookies on that line. Jamon Brown and Rob Havenstein. Havenstein's the rookie out of Wisconsin. Backs and receivers. Todd Gurley last week. 144 yards rushing in the second half with a long of 52 and a heads-up play when he went down at the end of the game to eat up clock on the second to last play instead of scoring the touchdown and giving Arizona a potential possession. Stedman Bailey in as a third receiver. 2nd and 8 out of the gun. Foles has time. Foles now in trouble. Tosses it out of bounds. Pressure from Clay Matthews. Already has 3 sacks. He's looked very comfortable on the inside of this Green Bay defense.
Well, here is number 52, and you can see it's a double blitz right up the middle. Nate Palmer rushing the passer along with Matthews. And that's one thing that Foles does extremely well, is he's aware of where the Packer defense is when the play breaks down. He lofted that ball safely out of bounds, avoiding the sack.
Matthews has been with the Packers for 7 years. He said to us that this is the best personnel that they've had defensively during his time with the team. They are really on the same page this year. Dime package here for Green Bay on a 3rd and 8. Foles steps up. Foles throws. Broken up. Try to hit the tight end, Jared Cook, throwing at Micah Hyde. And it's 3 and out for St. Louis.
Yeah, Micah Hyde starting at the safety spot for Morgan Burnett. You can see the great coverage there. And a really smart play by Hyde as he does not change the body of the tight end Cook with his other offhand. Just leaves it back there and swats it away with his right hand.
Foles took a shot from Mike Daniels on the play. Johnny Hecker is the punter. Micah Hyde, the return man. It does take a St. Louis roll. Hyde scoops it up, and he ducks out of bounds. Terrific field position for Green Bay to open up after the 43-yard punt and 8-yard return by the third-year safety from Iowa. Aaron Rodgers, last 19 home games, 48 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's 580 attempts since his last pick at Lambeau.
Yeah, and his plan today for the passing game includes the desire to get the ball to Randall Cobb and Ty Montgomery in open spaces so they can create after the catch. And then in the red zone, he'll look for the tight end, Richard Rodgers and James Jones, 2 big bodies that have 6 touchdowns among them.
It's a 3-receiver set on a pitch. Lacey looking for a lane. Out across the 45-yard line. That's a 3-yard pickup. Robert Quinn in on the stop. Offensively for Green Bay, Brian Bulaga is back, maybe a little ahead of schedule for Bulaga, who was dealing with a sprained MCL and torn meniscus. Backs and receivers, James Jones, the starter. Davante Adams is out once again. Adams nursing that sprained left ankle he suffered against Seattle. Rodgers will take a shot downfield, and it's too high. He was trying to hit the rookie out of Stanford, Ty Montgomery, incomplete, 3rd and 7.
Well, the first pass to Ty Montgomery last week against the Niners was a disappointing drop by Montgomery. Would have been at least a 50-yarder if he had caught it, maybe a touchdown. That ball thrown by Rodgers sailed out of bounds on him.
We asked Rodgers about Montgomery. He said he's coming along at a nice pace, great preparation, doesn't miss a thing mentally. Physically, he's getting there, but they've put a lot on his plate in the first month of his rookie season. Rodgers steps up the awareness. Rodgers, first down. Rodgers deep into St. Louis territory. Aaron Rodgers, 18 yards. Green Bay in business.
Well, look at the huge hole right up the middle as Laurinaitis will spy on Rodgers and then come off on Lacy. There's just nobody home. Rodgers smartly seeing it all, then gets down safely.
Aaron Rodgers, his longest run of the season as Lacy gets a touch. Laurinaitis over there defensively. It's a loss of 1. Let's take a look at this St. Louis defense. Aaron Donald, in just his second year, already considered among the best defensive players in the NFL. Mark Barron is playing linebacker, normally a safety. Alec Ogletree is out for an extended period of time. Janoris Jenkins with a big interception last week, one of the real highlight plays of the 2015 season in the second quarter of that win over Arizona. 2nd and 11 now for Green Bay. Ogletree fractured his right fibula, had surgery on Tuesday. Rodgers not on the same page. Randall Cobb was going up the field. LaMarcus Joyner in the nickel over there defensively for St. Louis.
Well, the Rams playing a lot of man-to-man early in this game, and that's twice now. Rodgers has tried to go deep down the left sideline, but the coverage has been so tight, he's not even tried to force it in there.
Defensive coordinator Greg Williams, former head coach in Buffalo for 3 years. He's been with Jeff Fisher a long time, going back to the Tennessee days. And Williams has done wonders with this Rams D. They believe in him and his game plan. There's a jump. Will Rodgers get a free play? He will not. You know, one thing the Rams talked about, Jeff Fisher said, look, if you jump, keep going. Don't give Rodgers a free look.
Zone infraction, number 98. Defense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Brett Allen, our referee here today.
And Jeff Fisher used an air horn in practice this week. He even walked into a defensive meeting and blew the air horn indoors. That startled everybody. But his point was, hey, don't be startled. Don't jump off sides. And well, here we are in the very first possession of the game. Nick Fairley jumps off sides because of Aaron's perfect hard count.
I thought Mark Wolf, our producer, went a little bit over the edge by using it in our meeting.
I didn't jump. You jumped out of your skin.
I jumped.
Unbelievable.
It scared me. 3rd and 6. Rodgers on time. Rodgers connecting for the touchdown. Ty Montgomery. Touchdown Packers.
Yeah, a little bit of a pick play, if you will. Richard Rodgers taking Tim McDonough. Watch it right here as he will open up Montgomery. A mix-up in the secondary for the Rams, obviously, as Truman Johnson cannot get off the rub from Richard Rodgers. And Ty Montgomery will never have an easier touchdown than that 31-yarder.
He was a high school track star, and that felt like a track meet. Nobody in front of him. No contact. No problem. Extra point for Mason Crosby. Ty Montgomery out of Stanford. Yeah, he still knows how to do the Lambeau leap once you put on the Packer uniform. The numbers just keep piling up for Aaron Rodgers. That's 12 touchdowns this season. No interceptions. Rodgers directs the Packers down the field on their first possession. So you're St. Louis, you win the toss, you take the football. You don't want Green Bay to touch it. You look up, it's 12 to play in the first, and you're still down 7-0. Crosby kicks it off. The scoop and run by Cunningham. That's spilled out across the 25-yard line by Hyde. Our Fouts focus on the touchdown.
Well, it was 3rd and 6 because of the offside penalty, so that meant the tight coverage here for the Rams, McDonald and Johnson. And now watch as Richard Rodgers comes off, and both players think that Rodgers is the main target there. And Ty Montgomery as a clear sailing to the end zone, but that penalty unfairly set up that type of defense, the man-to-man coverage that had to be tight because it's just 3rd and 6.
St. Louis, youngest roster in the NFL, now trailing 7-0. Went 3 and out on the first series of the day. Hand it off. Gurley runs into a wall. Mike Daniels there to bring down the rookie. Defensively, for Green Bay, B.J. Raji has been revitalized. Pro Bowler in 2011, torn bicep last year, missed the season. Julius Peppers, once again, a huge factor. Peppers doesn't look anything like a 35-year-old playing on the outside. And in that secondary, no Morgan Burnett once again. Micah Hyde continues to start, and Hyde has done good work on that back line for the Packers. Green Bay tightened it up against San Francisco last week. Only gave up 196 yards. Gurley falls forward and gets a gain of 3 on the play. Jaron Elliott in on that stop. And the fact that Green Bay, Dan, can rotate these guys on the D-line and linebackers, keeping their players fresh and not losing a lot in terms of talent.
And with B.J. Raji back after missing last year with a bicep injury, Clay Matthews says he's back in his natural spot. He's been revitalized. He's dropped some weight. And when you have a nose tackle that can dominate in the middle, that turns loose your ends.
Dime package here for the Packers. Chris Banjo, the second-year safety from SMU, is on the field. Play clock is down to 4. Down to 1. St. Louis uses a timeout. 10:37 mark of the first.
There's no foul to delay a game. Charge timeout. St. Louis, their first timeout.
So the Rams having a tough time getting going against Mike McCarthy's team. It's 7-0 Packers for the first.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency. Low fares. Nothing to hide. FanDuel, the leader in one-week fantasy football. And by the all-new 2015 Acura TLX. It's that kind of thrill.
Yeah, we try to be educational on the broadcast as well. That's family-run Foamation Incorporated in St. Francis, Wisconsin. They've been making the official cheesehead since 1987. I know you thought that they were made with actual cheese. They're not. Foles to throw it. Nice grab along the sideline out near the 40-yard line. Hooking up with Brian Quick. Quick brings size at 6'3", 218. It's a 10-yard pickup and a first down.
That's his first catch of the season, too. He knows where the sideline is. Safely gets both feet down. Sam Shields trying to cut underneath that one, but Foles threw it high away from the defender. And he took a shot.
St. Louis recently traded a wide receiver, Chris Gibbons, to Baltimore for a conditional 7th-round draft pick. They go with Austin, Bailey, Britt, and Quick. Foles hit as he throws. Deep ball on the way. Incomplete. Kenny Britt had a step on Sam Shields as Foles took a shot.
Well, on the play, Clay Matthews is so relentless after the quarterback. He will finally get in and give him the shot. But because of that shot, Foles really can't step into that throw. So it sailed down the middle of the field, and Britt, who was running down the left sideline, couldn't locate it fast enough, or that would have been a walk-in touchdown for the Rams.
Clay Matthews said we're playing much faster defensively, and continuity has played a big part in that. Guys have been a part of the system now for a number of years. Gurley thrown backwards. There is nowhere for Gurley to run. Mike Daniels and Clay Matthews made sure of it.
Well, 76 is Mike Daniels. And he's going to get inside of Greg Robeson. And getting inside of Robinson like that, this entire defense line. See, after they make a play, they come off to the sidelines, get fresh bodies in there. Now Matthews, who was a middle linebacker on 1st and 2nd down, now with this 3rd down, he will line up here where he's so effective rushing the passer.
It's a 3rd and 10 now for St. Louis. Working out of the gun, Foles. Protection holds up. Foles fires. Knocked up in the air. Oh, it's caught by St. Louis. Benny Cunningham is there on the ricochet with a penalty marker down. 16 yards on the obscure pass play. But the flag is down at the 49.
It certainly looked like the Packers are going to pick
Illegal
that one up.
contact, number 48, defense. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
Just a great hustle by Benny Cunningham to track that ball down. Watch as he'll come out from the left side of the screen. Packers running into each other, and there's Cunningham to make the catch.
So St. Louis is in Green Bay territory at the 45 after the reception by the running back Cunningham. On first down, Gurley slowed down and fights through it. Tough to bring him down with an arm tackle as he takes it to the 34. That's an 11-yard gain for the rookie out of Georgia, Gurley. Todd Gurley told us that the frustration from last week in the second half, we asked, well, how did it all come together? He said the team felt like they were leaving so many yards on the field in previous weeks. Collectively in the second half, they just kicked it into gear on the ground.
And that time, Rob Havenstein, the rookie out of Wisconsin, led the way after having troubles earlier with runs behind him.
8th play of the drive for St. Louis. It's Gurley again. Gurley tried to hop step around Raji. That big body, number 90, 7th year out of Boston College, the number 9 pick back in the 09 draft, makes the play.
Raji stuck out an arm, or was it a leg, to make that tackle. He's got arms that are just absolutely huge. You can see why he hurt his bicep. Watch this tackle here. Left arm, legal, around the shoulder pads there. Not grabbing the inside of the helmet. B.J. Raji.
St. Louis, the only team in the NFL without a 5-plus minute drive this season. Foles on a 2nd and 9. Foles is devoured back at the 41. Take your pick. Perry, Matthews, all making their way to the quarterback. It's a loss of 7.
Yes, 18 sacks now on the season for the Pack. Here comes Perry. He's going to get by the tight end Corey Harkey, and now he's going to get help from his friends. Matthews, as quick as there possibly could be for a linebacker, gets in on Foles. They'll split that one up.
Dom Capers' defense is on pace for 68 sacks this season. The NFL record is 72, set by the Bears back in 1984. This is a 3rd and 16. Foles gets rid of it. High throw. Britt couldn't handle it, and it's incomplete. And this drive stalls for St. Louis. Sam Shields, the defender, matched up with Britt.
Britt's got to make this catch because it puts the Rams in field goal position. Shields will come over, and really, it's just a plain drop by Britt. Shields late to swat it away, and Britt knows that if he makes that catch, he gives his team a chance to get 3 points.
And the sack pushed them out of field goal range. So Foles was just trying to get that yardage back. Johnny Hecker will punt it. Micah Hyde, the return man. Hecker comes in averaging 47.3 yards per kick. This one he's just trying to place it. Flag is down.
And delay a game. You know,
Delay of
Jeff
game.
Fisher did talk
Offense.
about
5-yard penalty.
stealing a possession or two in this game to keep the Packers on the sidelines, but with 4th down now and a mile to go, I would not anticipate any type of fake, but that's always the best time to try one.
Hecker was a high school quarterback. He's had success throwing the ball in the NFL, but it's 4th and 21. They took that penalty to back it up and give Hecker a little bit more space to work with. Trying to place it inside the 20, but this ends up making a beeline for the end zone. Packers will have it at the 20, a 45-yard punt, a net of 20. Cornheads. That's a little different. Your weekend starts here when the Falcons square off with the Saints. Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. Atlanta's been one of the biggest surprises in the NFL. Dan Quinn in his first year as the head coach. One of 6 undefeated teams. Green Bay, another one of those squads. New England, Cincinnati, Carolina, and Denver. 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line for the Packers. James Starks is in.
Green 18! Green 18!
Fake the handoff. It'll flip underneath. It's Starks. Breaks a tackle. Starks still going. Hit from behind out near the 40-yard line. It was Barron who whiffed, and Starks turns it into a 19-yard pickup.
Yeah, Mark Barron started at linebacker today for the Pack because of the injury to Alec Ogletree. And he's just not up to the task of bringing down Starks. Starks, after the fake, got that little screen pass and very positive play of 19 yards.
He's been a reliable backup for this Packer team now in his 6th year in the league. 1st and 10 at the 39. The toss is offline. Randall Cobb, the intended receiver. 6:05 mark of the first quarter. It'll be 2nd and 10 now for the Packers. Well, Aaron Rodgers, since his last interception at home, we've gone 1,043 days, Dan. 585 pass attempts, 49 touchdowns.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
No.
I threw 2 interceptions on the bus to the game each week.
That's right. Those numbers were official. Give it to Starks. He falls forward with a penalty marker.
Yeah, Rodgers is just so in control. He's been in this system now for a number of years, since 06 with Mike McCarthy, and that really pays
Offside.
off.
Number 95, defense, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
It's William Hayes offsides, and one of the rotation guys for St. Louis. Long, Donald, Brockers, and Quinn. You'll see Hayes, Nick Fairley, the former Lion, and Eugene Sims is active once again. He suffered a knee injury in week 1, hadn't played since.
And fairly now, it's Hayes offsides, keeping the Packers moving.
2nd and 5, just short of the 45. Rodgers on a give. Hot step from Starks. Starks has a 1st down. Brought down at midfield. 6-yard pickup. They'll move the chains with 5:24 to go in the first.
Here's the left guard, Josh Sitton, and that's exactly where Starks wants to take this ball. Slides in just behind him and pick up that 5 yards in the 1st down. Sitton, one of the best.
Rodgers. A strike to Montgomery, working the perimeter. And Green Bay moving the ball once again. That's a 6-yard gain. Never miss a moment of football action with the CBS Sports app. Every play, every story, and every highlight, right as they happen. Download the CBS Sports app now. 2nd and 4. Foles taking a look at some pictures on the St. Louis sideline. His team is down 7-0. The Packers are looking for more. 2nd catch of the day for Montgomery. He has the touchdown for Green Bay. Long count. Eddie Lacy emerges through that little opening. 2-yard pickup. Had to fight for it. TJ McDonald will get credit for the stop. Lacy has that punishing running style. And we're seeing bruisers around the league now, Dan. Marshawn Lynch, obviously the first guy you think of.
Well, and you got to go low at times when you're in traffic here as he powers through TJ McDonald there, close to a 1st down.
We saw Chris Ivory make a living on that last week in London. Ball is tipped, scooping under James Laurinaitis, and the streak is over. Interception on a tip ball. Chris Long gets a piece, and Aaron Rodgers is human. 587 passes since his last pick at Lambeau.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by AARP. Real possibilities.
Have to go back to December of 2012. The last time Aaron Rodgers threw a pick at home. St. Louis gets the turnover. It's Gurley trying to bounce off a tackler. Gurley gains 2. Mike Daniels wraps him up.
That is Mark Barron right there. And Barron, who missed a tackle earlier in this drive, great athletic ability to get that left hand up there. And how about this layout for a catch by Laurinaitis? His 10th career interception in just his 6th year from the middle linebacker spot.
Laurinaitis told us it's exciting to play against Rodgers. The chess match, anticipating his calls, changing our calls. It's a constant challenge. 2nd and 8. Line it up. Foles, deep ball. Rainbow delivery is too far. Trying to get the speedy Stedman Bailey involved.
And that's the first time that Foles has gone back to pass and not been hit. Clay Matthews doing everything he can to try to get in on the quarterback, but a good job by Todd Gurley, and he sends Matthews head over heels. Or is it heels over head?
Either way, I think both are acceptable.
I don't think so. I think it's head over heels, which doesn't make any sense at all.
Greg Robinson was limping at the end of that play. He remains in there at the left tackle position. This is a 3rd and 8. Working out of the gun. Foles, pressure. Intercepted! It's picked off. Micah Hyde with the INT. And the Packers get it back at midfield.
Now Foles, another guy that doesn't throw many interceptions. That's just his 2nd of the season. And the Packers get it right back in 2 plays.
First time this season, the Rams did not capitalize on a turnover. No points for St. Louis. In fact, they hand it right back to Green Bay. Micah Hyde, his first interception of the season. Packers have it at midfield. Lacey, the single setback on 1st down. Play action. Little toss. It's caught. And it's Richard Rodgers that catch and run. Rodgers was stacked up with Lacey, and the tight end turns it into a 4-yard gain.
The ageless one, Julius Peppers, 56 here, working against an injured Greg Robinson. He hits Foles in the hip, a good legal shot. That causes the ball to go off target and into the hands of Micah Hyde. Tremendous pressure put on by this entire Packer defense on Foles so far.
Packers lead 7-0. They have scored in the first quarter in 21 straight regular season games. Lacey met by Barron, 3-yard pickup. Let's head to New York. JB and Boomer.
Baltimore getting it done. Hey, Ian and Dan, we had to restrain James Brown in studio here because Kyle Juszczyk from Harvard catches an 8-yard touchdown pass from Joe Flacco, 14-3. He's so proud. You guys should see him here.
Ian and Dan, you know I just keep a straight face.
Yeah, Crimson Tide pride. It's nationwide. Richard Rodgers the catch. He's thrown down by McDonald. And now what do you do if you're the Green Bay Packers?
Hey, you go for it. There's no question. They're already at the line of scrimmage, Ian. With Rodgers calling the plays with help from Tom Clements.
It's a 4th and 1. First time that Clements is calling the plays instead of Mike McCarthy taking on those duties this season. 10th year as a coach of the Packers.
And by going to the line of scrimmage, they prevented the Rams from substituting.
Motion man is Jones.
Time for the hard count. Nope.
Low snap. A blast by Lacey. Did they stop him?
He didn't make it.
Lacey indicating that he had enough. Rams believe that they put a brick wall in front of him, short of the 40-yard line. TJ McDonald got him down low. Rams take over the football. What a stand defensively by St. Louis.
Hey, you talk about TJ McDonald here. Right on the end of the line of scrimmage there, you can see that he comes underneath Chris Long, high. Tremendous effort there by the Ram defense. As good as a turnover.
This is a St. Louis team that did allow 447 yards of offense to Arizona last week, but they locked them down in the red zone. Having a tough time moving the football, though, with 1:36 to play in this first quarter. 7-0 lead for the Packers. Play clock down to 1. They didn't get the playoff.
I mean, that's really inexcusable. You come off the sidelines
Offense.
with the play.
5-yard penalty. First down.
Nick Foles did come here 2 years ago as a member of the Eagles and won here at Lambeau. It was a game that Aaron Rodgers did not start late in the season. Rodgers was getting some rest. But we asked Foles about playing here at Lambeau, and he said, flat out, it is an incredible venue. He said, well, what were your stats that day? He said, I have no idea. Did you believe him?
I think he's just being modest. It was enough for him to just say we won the game.
1st and 15 at the 35. Swing it to the outside. Trey Mason. Mason gets the perimeter. Hit by Banjo. Good angle for Mason on the catch and run.
Yeah, Foles may not remember today, too, if he keeps getting hit like this. He's been knocked down 5 times, been sacked once, and has thrown an interception. That offensive line being dominated by the Packers defense right now.
Austin, Bailey, and Britt all line up to one side.
Austin yet to touch the ball.
He was tremendous last week against Arizona. Play fake, and nobody on Green Bay bought it. Pressure coming from Daniels.
Well, they wanted to set up the tight end screen to Jared Cook. I think if Foles could have taken just a half a second longer, he might have seen that Cook was going to be open on it. Foles now struggling because of the pressure, just 2 for 9. And remember, one of those catches was a rebound catch by Benny Cunningham.
Foles has been intercepted as well by Micah Hyde. We have 1:02 to go in the opening quarter. St. Louis facing a 3rd and 9. This season, on 3rd down, the average is 8 yards to go. 5th worst in the NFL. Foles picked off, intercepted. It's Rollins, untouched, all the way for the touchdown. Lambeau leap, and the Packers add to their lead on a 45-yard pick six.
And again, it was pressure by the Packer front line. Dayton Jones right here is going to provide that pressure, forces Foles to throw off balance to Jared Cook, and the rookie, 2nd-round pick out of Miami of Ohio, has his first big play in the NFL.
Dan, think about how this young man's life has changed in a 2-year period. He played 4 years of basketball at Miami, Ohio as a point guard, then decided to go out for football. He becomes the MAC Defensive Player of the Year. He gets drafted by the Packers, and here at home at Lambeau, he gets a pick six and a Lambeau leap. It's a 13-0 lead for Green Bay. St. Louis has a very young offensive line. One of the veterans is Roger Saffold, who was hurt on that interception return for a touchdown, and he is headed to the locker room for St. Louis. Mason Crosby on for the extra point.
Remember Greg Robinson, the left tackle.
That's right.
Nicked up a little bit too.
The punter Mastay holds it. And it's 14-0. Packers. 53 seconds left to play in the first. Quentin Rollins, his first experience of the Lambeau leap. Tomorrow on CBS, the only thing smarter than a genius is a whole team of them. Catch a new Scorpion. That's tomorrow at 9, 8 Central, only CBS. Start of the second quarter in Green Bay. The NFL on CBS. Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, Evan Washburn, the rest of our crew. It's a 2nd and 13 for the Rams. They trail 14-0 to the Packers. 5 straight incompletions for Foles, 2 picks. Now they'll try to get Austin involved. Austin on a zigzag. Not a whole lot there. Austin working his way towards the sideline. Good angle there for Hayward defensively as we check in with Evan.
Well, guys, this offensive line is under the microscope for the Rams. Roger Saffold is dealing with a right shoulder injury. He's still in the locker room. I know you've been keeping an eye on Greg Robertson. He seems to be in some discomfort. It's the right foot that's got a heavy tape job. Now, Nick Foles has done his best to try and keep this group poised, but there's a lot of frustration on this sideline, guys. It's
a 3rd and 12. Deep in their own territory. Foles. Deep ball. Looking for separation. One-on-one. Incomplete. Tavon Austin in a matchup with Shields, and for a moment it looked like Shields was the receiver on the play.
Well, Austin was behind him by about a half a yard, but Sam Shields went to the Pro Bowl last year. Ball slightly underthrown, maybe by a foot or so, but tremendous reaction by Shields to not interfere and then come close to getting the Pack's 3rd pick of the first half.
Shields played wide receiver in college at Miami. He has become a top cover corner in this league. Johnny Hecker, the punt. Micah Hyde for a catch called for, brings it in cleanly at the 39-yard line. First quarter for Green Bay, doing it from a number of different angles.
Yeah, the Packers get it started with this 31-yard touchdown pass to Ty Montgomery from Aaron Rodgers. And then it's been the defense taking over. Clay Matthews with a sack there with Perry. And then the interception by Hyde as Foles continues to just get battered and beaten. And Rollins with his first NFL touchdown.
So 14 points in that first quarter, 93 yards. They did turn the ball over once, but they turned St. Louis over twice. Last time the Packers were 4-0, it was 2011 when they started 13-0 and finished the season 15-1. Starks gets an opportunity running inside for 2. Laurinaitis, the tackle for St. Louis.
This is exactly what the Rams feared, is giving Rodgers in this offense short fields. Packers have had great field position throughout this game. And you don't want to give this guy too many opportunities with a short field.
Mike McCarthy, in talking about Aaron Rodgers, he said, look, here are the obvious things. Fundamentals, talent, the physical part, the mental part, the decision-making, the part that people don't know about. His ability to process information is a gift. As Rodgers will go down after a 3-yard scramble and set up third down now for the Packers.
And you can see when he is scrambling, he's not looking to run. He's looking to make a big play. And he'll practice that in practice a number of times. He'll just do it on his own where got a pass play called, and he'll just go back and scramble around and make his receivers find a way to get open.
He had a great line. He told the young receivers, this is what you should know. If I'm not looking at you, it doesn't mean I can't see you. So be aware.
And they are.
3rd and 5. Rodgers gets out of trouble, but not enough for a first down. And a flag is down back at the 40-yard line. James Laurinaitis gets down low to make the play. Rams will decline the penalty. And it will be 4th down for the Packers.
Offense number 70. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Yeah, T.J. Lang had a a handful of shirt of Michael Brockers there. And he's just trying to protect his quarterback. Rodgers trying to find an opening up the middle, but it's tough against Brockers and Donald. They're so good at penetrating and not giving Rodgers that soft pocket to step up into.
You got Brockers, who's 6'5", 325, and Donald is 6'1", less than 300 pounds. Different players, but so effective as a combination. The punt from Mastay. It'll bounce and die inside the 5. That was very close to the goal line. Jeff Janis getting down the field. Rams are indicating that it crossed the goal line and should be out to the 20. The officials will talk it over. We'll find out where they place it when we come back. The officials placed the ball inside the 1. Jeff Fisher immediately threw the red flag to challenge this.
Well, Jeff Janis touches the ball there. Great hustle, but you can see the shadow of the ball over the front part of the end zone. This is a touchback and should come out to the 20-yard line.
All right, let's bring in our CBS Sports rules expert, Mike Carey in New York. Mike, what'd you see on the play?
Well, I see 2 things. One, the player has to reestablish himself in the field of play with 2 feet down or something other than
After
his
reviewing
hands
the play, the
before he
ruling on the
touches
field has
ball.
been changed. The kicking team player went into the end zone and did not reestablish before touching the ball. Therefore, it is a touchback. 1st and 10 for St. Louis from the 20-yard line. St. Louis is not charged a timeout.
And Mike, what about your second point there? Obviously, the officials saw what you saw. What was the second point?
Well, if the ball had been touched in the end zone, then that would have been also a natural touchback. This was not the case here. A good job of officiating in replay.
All right. Thank you very much,
Great
Mike.
challenge.
Yeah, and Jeff Fisher is a guy that's all over it, as we know, part of the Rules Committee, and there was no way that one was going to slip through the cracks on Jeff Fisher.
Yeah, but if originally the officials said he did reestablish, and then they got together and found out that he did not reestablish himself with 2 feet in the field of play.
So St. Louis has a 1st and 10 at its own 20-yard line, trying to get Gurley going, and here he goes. Gurley across the 30. First down run for Todd Gurley out of Tarboro, North Carolina. Good block from Greg Robinson on that left side.
Yeah, they've been running this way, but this time he's going to cut it back. And it's a smart play by Gurley. Good vision as he sees the hole back all the way to the left side and picks up 11.
We asked him what's been the biggest transition, the toughest adjustment. He said, look, in college, I would win the one-on-one battles and break tackles. That is more difficult to do at this level. Austin, they get him involved in different ways because of his versatility. NFL Today update, JB and Boomer.
Kansas City clicking. That's right. Here's the Anthony Thomas little wide receiver screen, but he's really a running back wearing number 13, JB. Chiefs on top, 14-3 over the Chicago Bears.
Appreciate the insight, Boomer. Back to Ian and Dan.
And for Kansas City, ever since that disappointing loss, a shocking loss to Denver on Thursday night, they have struggled. They need something to start getting their season percolated, and the Bears could be the antidote. Todd Gurley. Good effort by Gurley just to thwart his body forward for a 6-yard pickup.
You know, for a guy that doesn't drink coffee, that's the first time I've heard the term percolated in a football game.
That's true.
I'm going to write that one down.
Yeah, you can use it, Dan, in your everyday life.
I'm going to look it up, see what it means first.
And then use it.
Yeah, if it fits, which I'm not sure. Well, yeah, it does.
It's a new set of downs for St. Louis. We're down to 10:44 to go in this first half. Packers leading at 14-0. 5 first downs now for the Rams. And a shift in approach here. They've gone to the ground game. Gurley scoots ahead for a 3-yard pickup. Life is measured in seconds in America's busiest ER. Don't miss a new episode of Code Black Wednesday after Criminal Minds, only CBS. Second and long here for the Rams. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers up 14-0. It was the Packers who came in number 3 in the NFL in rushing yards, 136 per game. It's the Rams that are trying to control the clock and get a little rhythm here on the ground. Todd Gurley, excellent run by Gurley. Mike Daniels, the stop.
Yeah, you think the offensive line might have got a talking to because they've been unable to protect the quarterback. So the Rams now, with about 4 straight runs on this drive, have got the ball in Packer territory thanks to Gurley and Austin. A wonderful 1-2 punch, because on that play, they faked the fly sweep to Austin. That attracted the linebackers and opened up the middle, and they'll bring out the chains to see if Gurley got enough for the first down.
Not enough. It will be 3rd and inches here for the Rams. Mike McCarthy had high praise for Jeff Fisher. They had an interview back in 1999. McCarthy was a quarterback coach, was looking for the next move in his career, coming from Kansas City. Interviewed with Fisher, interviewed with the Packers, spent a day with Fisher, talked football the whole day. He was impressed with what they were building in Tennessee. He ended up taking the Packer quarterback job, and a big reason why Brett Favre was the quarterback. But it all worked out for Tennessee as well. They got to the Super Bowl that year with Steve McNair, and Fisher and McCarthy have become excellent friends.
Watch the sneak here.
3rd and inches. Foles is a big guy, 6'6", and a 2-yard pickup.
Well, he emptied the backfield. There's nobody else to give the ball to. The only other thing you could do is try to drive them off sides with a hard count, but 243 pounds of quarterback there, and he got that easily.
How about the way Nick Foles has handled the transition after being traded, which is an emotional thing in this league when your career is turned upside down?
Well, the first thing he did is he established relationships with everybody in the building. Players, staff, and let them know all about his personality.
Gurley slicing to the outside. Jaron Elliott loops over to make the play. It's a 3-yard pickup. Well, these two will always be connected based on the fact that they were traded for one another. Quarterbacks getting dealt in the same deal, Nick Foles and Sam Bradford. And so far, Foles has stood out between these two. Bradford has struggled with Philly.
7 plays on this drive, 7 runs for the Rams.
2nd and 7 now. St. Louis in Green Bay territory inside the 45. 3 tight ends in this formation. Play action. Foles dials up the deep ball. Over the shoulder attempt. Incomplete to Jared Cook, but a flag down. Ha-ha Clinton Dix in coverage.
And he's going to get the call for pass interference. Good pass protection after the play action fake, and Foles
Pass interference.
let it go.
Defense number 21. Spot foul. Automatic. First down.
It's on Ha-ha, and it's the first penalty.
Yeah, watch his left arm. He grabs the jersey there. And that's enough to draw the flag. A lot of these fans didn't see it, but that turns out to be a 32-yard penalty and no laughing matter.
I get it.
Thank you.
First and 10 for the Rams at the 11. Motion man Kendricks. It's a running play. Stop and go. Gurley. Oh, he had a head of steam. It's hit down low by Hyde, and he saves the touchdown. It's a 6-yard run.
Oh, that was a great tackle. And that's what Gurley was talking about yesterday, is breaking tackles in college, but in the NFL, I guarantee you, he thought he was gone right here. Breaks that tackle there, and then the dive by Hyde just enough, or Gurley has his first NFL touchdown.
2nd and 4 from the Green Bay 5. As Packers defense getting challenged in the red zone. The flip, Austin, the cut, Austin is in, touchdown Rams. The creativity, Tavon Austin.
And a touchdown pass at that, because the ball was thrown forward by Foles. Watch how quickly, just touches his hands and he lets it go, and he puts it up high so it's in the face of Austin. He can see it easily, snatch the ball, and then his natural ability makes Ha-ha Clinton Dix miss at the goal line, and the Rams get exactly what they need, a touchdown to get back in this ball game.
Frank Cignetti Jr., the offensive coordinator for the Rams, was the quarterback coach calling the plays and dipping into the bag of tricks to get Tavon Austin into the end zone.
It was Austin and Gurley on that drive, wasn't it? And Clinton Dix with a big penalty.
Extra point from Zerline. 9 plays, 80 yards, 8 runs. The final play of the drive is a little two-handed touch pass to Austin for the score.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FanDuel, the leader in one-week fantasy football. FedEx, solutions that matter. And by Verizon. Watch live primetime games with NFL Mobile, only on Verizon.
Well, for St. Louis, an 80-yard drive. It took just over 5 minutes. That's their second drive that's gone longer than 5 minutes. They had 0 in the first 4 games of the season until today. Todd Gurley, 6 carries, 34 yards on that possession. 7:12 to play in the first half. It's 14-7. Packers time of possession in favor of St. Louis. Ball comes off the tee, so Greg Zerline will reset it. And he's going to get a little help from Rodney McLeod.
That was a real attitude drive by the Rams. Looked a lot like the attitude that they displayed last week against the Arizona Cardinals on the road.
St. Louis had a season-high 164 rushing yards against the Cardinals last week. They've got 70 in the first half today. Big leg from Zerline. And the Packers will have it from the 20. Aaron Rodgers leads this offense onto the field when we come back. Last month in St. Louis, it was the Rams' 20th annual Night of Wishes. James Laurinaitis hosted the event as players participated in festivities to help raise money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. In total, the team raised $265,000, enabling Make-A-Wish Missouri to grant more than 50 wishes for children battling life-threatening diseases. Green Bay 14, St. Louis 7. Packers have it a 1st and 10 at their own 20. Play action, Rodgers out of the pocket. Rodgers on the move, looking downfield, a fake, and Beers out of bounds. Chase from Long and Quinn, 5-yard gain.
Yeah, some miscommunication on the touchdown by the Packers. Here's Casey Hayward, and as Austin comes around. Hayward does not go with him. So it looks like man-to-man here, and that leaves Clinton Dix at the goal line, and that's no contest. But a miscommunication by the Packers secondary and really a creative and well-executed play. Incomplete pass that time outside as we have some microphone problems. First 4 possessions of the first half. The last time the Packers started at the 20-yard line resulted in that interception. But they've had great field position throughout this first half. Average 35-yard line.
Yep. 26.
So it'll be 3rd down and 5 as Ian gets his microphone squared away. Rodgers will call timeout. And that's a good timeout for us, too. .6:40 to go in the first half. Packers on top, 14-7.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Voya Financial, changing the way you think of retirement. And by Bud Light. Make the right call. Drink responsibly.
Yeah, Green Bay Packer Museum. It's just an awesome experience to go through and see one of my favorite players, Bart Starr, winner of 5 NFL titles.
You just feel like you're in the middle of history when you come to Lambeau. And it's a 3rd and 5 now for the Packers. Excellent job on the play-by-play from Dan Fouts, who incidentally pulled out my microphone cord.
Got me.
Rodgers to throw it. On the line, zips it in there. Montgomery with another grab. Terrific hands by the rookie from Dallas, Texas, 11-yard hookup.
Yeah, great catch as he gets inside of Johnson on the slant. Johnson holding him, trying to keep him from getting to this ball, but he fights through the hold and makes the fingertip catch.
3rd round pick. He's physical at 6 foot 216. Rodgers flip it underneath to Starks. Hit down low. Starks thought he was going to turn that into a huge gain. Nick Fairley limited Starks to a 7-yard pickup on the play.
Yeah, you can start to feel the momentum now for the Packers as they have an injury to deal with to one of their offensive linemen.
It's T.J. Lang, the 7-year veteran on that right side of the Green Bay line.
And you can see Bulaga with a huge brace on his left knee.
So the Packers have gotten by with Don Barclay playing that right side after the Bulaga injury. And Barclay had held up well until last week when he gave up 3 sacks in that victory over San Francisco, 17-3.
Now this would happen so often to offensive linemen. The block on Barron there by Lang, and then Starks and Fairley fall on the back of Lang's legs.
Lang is being helped off. Josh Walker, a first-year offensive lineman out of Middle Tennessee State, will step in and man that spot.
Rams have done a good job on Randall Cobb and James Jones in the first half. No catches for either of them, as Rodgers just 7 out of 12. Usually is almost perfect and always looking for those two.
All 4 of their wins have come by double figures. The first 3 games, though, they had big offensive numbers. Last week, they showed they could win a game without putting up the big, gaudy offensive stats. Defensively, they just locked down Colin Kaepernick. He was confused.
Still is.
2nd and 3. Eddie Lacy in the backfield. We've got 5:40 to play in this first half. It's a 4-receiver set. Rodgers steps up. Rodgers, the leading rusher for the Packers here today. He's got a first down. 5-yard gain, lull you to sleep, and then take it upfield. He's got 33 yards rushing.
And he knows what he needs for the first down. Didn't need a whole lot there. Makes the play right up the middle for the second time today. Both times picking up first downs.
We're good.
So first down out near midfield. Lacey will shift to the other side of Rogers. Give it to Lacey. Lacey lifted and brought down by Joyner. LaMarcus Joyner with a physical tackle. It's a 2-yard gain for the Alabama product.
And the Florida State product, Joyner with the big tackle there coming from his corner spot. Joyner a nickel back. Rams will play a lot of nickel today against Rodgers and company.
Lambeau Field opened in 1957. Several renovations through the years, the new scoreboard, the sound system. Rodgers gets rid of it quickly. Shake and bake move by Cobb. First down. First catch for Cobb.
Yeah, 26 now on the year, and he's going to school. LaMarcus Joyner here with that move, and then the speed to get out of bounds, 10 yards there. This is what Cobb's all about. In space, creating.
Out of the gun, stepping through, and the pick. It's Tremaine Johnson. Aaron Rodgers intercepted for the second time today.
And Chris Long is down, holding his right knee.
Aaron Rodgers, second pick at Lambeau.
Well, Tremaine Johnson had a similar type of interception against the Seattle Seahawks where he reads the coverage, then lays out to make the interception. Quickly gets to his feet and brings the ball back, but maybe even bigger concerns now for the Rams.
Did he trap it?
That look tells me yes, he did. Obviously, this will be reviewed. It's a turnover. But what about the right knee of Chris Long?
Chris Long, who played 6 games last season because of an ankle injury. And Long planted there and took a shot to that right knee. I don't know if that was knee to knee with David Bakhtiari.
Yeah, they are both holding their knees. If it's just a bruise, that's a great sign. And this is, too, to see him walking off the field. You always fear a ligament tear or something, but that could just be as simple as a bruise. And that'd be good news for both players. Now, the question is, was that a trap, an interception, or are the Packers going to get the ball?
Rodgers has thrown 2 interceptions in his last 8 passes. This is what they're looking at. Johnson. Did he secure it, or did the ground help him secure it?
Yeah, it does move in his hand. I think that one's coming back.
You have to go back to October of 2010, the last time that Rodgers threw 2 picks in a game at home.
Well, apparently there's going to be the Ram ball. Brad Allen saying that there was no trap there, so a great play by Tremaine Johnson.
St. Louis have it. 1st and 10 inside the 35. Give it to Gurley. Hit down low. Mike Neal in on the stop. It's a 2-yard pickup.
Now the Rams in the first half, in effect, have had 3 turnovers. They stopped the Packers on a 4th down play, and they picked off Rodgers twice. Did not score on the first 2 turnovers, if you will. Had a great opportunity here before the end of the first half.
First 2 interceptions of the season for Aaron Rodgers. And it sets up St. Louis in Green Bay territory on a 2nd and 8. More Gurley. Up the middle for 3. Mike Daniels with a tackle for the Packers.
And the big thing now for the Rams is they're in field goal range, and that is huge at the end of the first half to at least come away with 3 points. And that's on Nick Foles now, not to press this ball into too tight a coverage if they are indeed going to throw this ball.
3rd and 5 for the Rams. Motion man is Bailey. Foles from the gun. Rifles. Catch is made by Bailey. And the question will be where they spot the football. Will it be enough for a first down?
I think so. Fine catch by Bailey as that ball was thrown high and wide. He went up and got it. Foles with a clean pocket that time. You can see how high this ball is.
And it is enough for a first down. They'll move the chains. Line of scrimmage is the 23. Foles is now 5 of 14, 38 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions.
Now Mike McCarthy's thrown the challenge flag. He's going to challenge the spot. And he got that flag out just in time.
Spot related to a first down. We will review the play.
2:09 remaining in this first half. Green Bay holding on to a 14-7 lead against St. Louis.
That's well worth the challenge, too, at this point of the game. You see where he needed to get to the 23-yard line. And forward progress is going to give it to him. It's not where he goes down, it's where he catches the ball. Right there, and then Casey Hayward's going to push him back.
So St. Louis is either looking at a first down or a 4th and inches. Coach's challenge came from Mike McCarthy, challenging the spot. And Chris Long is going in a little early, and he's going into the locker room gingerly.
There may not be enough evidence to reverse this call. Fine catch by Bailey. Hayward, tight coverage. But as he makes the catch, it appeared he had enough for the first down.
Bailey had a touchdown last week in that win over Arizona.
That was an expensive touchdown,
It
wasn't it?
was. Cost him about $9,000 because of a celebration. He used the football as a pillow, Dad.
Yeah, that's it's in the rule book. You can't use the football as a pillow.
Yeah. What's that?
Or as a prop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Specifically,
Well-
does it say anything about a pillow?
Well, no, it's prop,
Prop.
no pillow. But $8,800 of props. Wow.
Still waiting on the ruling from Brad Allen as Mike McCarthy has challenged this spot. Call on the field was a first down. Was there enough to overturn it?
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Green Bay is charged a timeout and their first challenge. It's first down, St. Louis.
So the Packers have 1 timeout remaining. Mike McCarthy rolled the dice.
Well, Nick Foles has a couple of big targets in the red zone to work with, too, if he decides to throw a high fade. Jared Cook goes 6'5", Kenny Britt 6'3". Talked about Brian Quick. He already has 1 catch today. He's 6'3".
2:09 to play in this first half. St. Louis down a touchdown to the Packers. Give it to Gurley, cuts it upfield. Inside the 20 on a 4-yard run by Gurley. Jaron Elliott over there to make the stop for Green Bay. We get the 2-minute warning at Lambeau, 14-7. Packers in front. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report, JB Toney, Bart Boomer, Coach Cowher, the latest NFL scores and highlights, as well as a preview of Thursday Night Football on CBS and the NFL Network. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. 2 minutes to play, first half. 2nd and 6 for St. Louis. Movement. A lot of penalties early for the Rams. They cut down on those.
False start. Offense, number 68. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
It's the rookie out of Louisville, Jamon Brown, on the left side of the St. Louis line.
Had 6 penalties against the Rams for 30 yards here in the first half. And a rookie mistake by Brown.
Obviously the focus for St. Louis, score, but also don't leave Green Bay too much time to work with.
No question with Aaron Rodgers. How much is too much?
Take the handoff underneath, a lot of bodies there. Stedman Bailey can't break free. 1-yard pickup, Micah Hyde. Nicely done. And an injured Ram, it's Kenny Britt.
Britt was trying to block for Stedman Bailey on this little quick hitch screen pass here. And it looked like he injured his right hand. Extended his hand to make a block, and obvious pain there.
Britt, a 7-year veteran. He was with Fisher in Tennessee. We asked Fisher about Britt. He said he's really matured through the years. They signed him to a 2-year, $9.125 million deal during the offseason, so they believed he would play a big role in this offense.
No catches today. Had that one drop pass. And now they'll check out his hand as he goes to the sidelines. But this is how critical that penalty on Jamon Brown was. On second down, they had second down with a lot of options there. It was 2nd and 6.
St. Louis charged a timeout because of the injury. So only one timeout remaining for the Rams. Aaron Rodgers is hoping to get another crack at this St. Louis defense before the end of the half.
And maybe the biggest problem for the Rams is that takes away a target for Foles. Talked about Britt's ability to get up high at 6'3" and long arms. No good on the sidelines. He's replaced by Brian Quick.
Quick is also a big body at 6'3", 218. 3rd and 10 for the Rams. Here comes the rush. Foles to the end zone. Knocked up in the air and incomplete. They were looking for the height advantage that Quick had against Sam Shields, but it's Shields winning the battle.
And a couple of times now, Shields has been right there on these long passes. Ball was a lot of contact there. How can they not call all that contact? Ball just slightly underthrow. It was right in the hands of Quick, but Shields got his hands in between. Watch his right hand push the ball away from Brian Quick. Great play by Shields.
42-yard attempt now for Greg Zuerlein. He is 6 of 6 on the season. Trying to cut into the Green Bay lead. Zuerlein knocks it through. He's got a rocket leg. And it's 14-10. Packers, 1:40 to play in this first half. Well, always special to come here to Lambeau Field. These fans so passionate. It's a way of life here in Wisconsin. And it also brings back memories, Super Bowl memories. You know that Super Bowl 50 will be here on CBS. How about Super Bowl 1? Green Bay Packers from the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs from the AFL. Close first half, and then Bart Starr led the Packers to the 35-10 win, the first of 2 in a row for Vince Lombardi.
Yeah, a little play action fake there. Hit Max McGee on the post route. And you had to dodge the goalposts in those days because they were on the goal line.
Statue outside of Lambeau Field. Vince Lombardi. And some of the great names throughout Packers history.
These are the retired numbers for the Packers. Reggie White, Ray Nitschke, Bart Starr, Tony Canadale, Don Hudson, and of course the Hall of Famers like Paul Hornung. So many Hall of Famers have played. First time I played here, Ian, it was Alumni Day, and they had the alums on the sidelines in folding chairs, and to look over there and see some of these legends was just awesome.
How many games did you play here at Lambeau?
I played 2, and that first one was in 1975, and Ted Hendricks broke my thumb, so that was a bad memory.
You know, Dan, we have some video of that. No, we don't.
But then we came back in 1984 and had a shootout with Lynn Dickey and company, and it was a lot of fun.
That was memorable. They still talk about that one here in Green Bay.
I'm sure they do. I'm the only person who talks about it in Green Bay.
Greg Zuerlein kicks it through the back of the end zone. Mike McCarthy and Jeff Fisher. McCarthy 105, 55 and 1 in his career. Jeff Fisher 169 career wins as an NFL head coach.
So is 140 and 1 timeout, 80 yards to go. Too much time for the Rams to defend Aaron Rodgers.
The Packers have scored 26 points or more in 11 straight home games, all victories. They've got 14 on the board with 1:40 to play in the second quarter. 1st and 10 from the 20. Starks in the backfield. Play clock expired.
Wow.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And that's Aaron Rodgers.
And normally they're pretty buttoned up at home.
Maybe it's the heat. It's all this sunshine. There's not a cloud in the sky. It's about 80 degrees.
Well, that 10-game regular season stretch, it's an all-timer. The best 10-game home span in franchise history. A franchise that has won 13 titles. Rodgers looking up. Rodgers looking downfield. And a comebacker for Montgomery with a flag thrown at the 30.
Yeah, they're going to call holding or illegal contact against the Rams. So this will get back that 5 yards and the first down.
6 penalties against St. Louis, 2 against the Packers.
Holding. Number 56. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
It's Akeem Ayers who has stepped into the spot vacated by the injury to Alec Ogletree. We mentioned earlier Mark Barron lining up at the linebacker position. Plays like a linebacker. Number 7 pick in the 2012 draft by the Buccaneers.
And it was his play in the first quarter that led to the interception by Laurinaitis.
1 timeout remaining, 1.5 minutes to play. First half. Cobb out in space. Cobb is out of bounds. 7-yard pickup. Clock stops with 1:28 remaining. LaMarcus Joyner over there defensively for St. Louis.
And James Jones still without a catch here in the first half.
Last week, 5 catches, 98 yards for Jones. He's looking for his first career 1,000-yard season. He's on pace to do it. Rodgers rifles it. Catch made by Richard Rodgers. T.J. McDonald, the tackle for the Rams. It's a 12-yard hookup.
Now the Rams aren't getting any pressure on Rodgers at all. As he can see, the other Rodgers on the crossing route delivers it perfectly.
Rodgers steps up, pump. Rodgers hit from the side and he's brought down. Nice play by Aaron Donald. 3-yard gain for Rodgers. Trying to get Crosby into field goal range here. Don Barclay is in at right guard for T.J. Lang out with a knee injury. The bobble and the drop by Starks. 44 seconds left.
Yeah, Richard Rodgers slow to get up in the middle of the field, and that's just a flat drop there by Starks. Barron with the coverage.
And it sets up 3rd and 7 now for the Packers. Rodgers is 10 of 17, 109 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Working out of the gun.
You see Laurinaitis changing the defense, giving Rodgers one look and then coming out of it.
Play clock down to 1. Rodgers steps up. Rodgers in trouble. Shovels it. And Starks is brought down short of the first down at the 45.
Now this time they do get good pressure on Rodgers. He sees Starks out of the corner of his eye. That's close to being a forward pass there. Either way, it's a good play because Rodgers is behind the line of scrimmage.
That pressure coming from all angles, and T.J. McDonald providing some of it on Rodgers. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. We'll send it back to the studios. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cower, scores and highlights, and a preview of Thursday Night Football on CBS and the NFL Network. All coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Time runs out in this first half. Green Bay will get the football to start the second half, and the Packers have a 14-10 lead at home on a day where Aaron Rodgers has thrown 2 interceptions at home. Let's send it downstairs. Evan standing by with Jeff Fisher.
Coach, how's your defense been able to do something most defenses can't do and frustrate Rodgers?
Well, we had a great week, and you can't relax with Aaron. He's liable to make a play at any time, but you know, we got lucky and made 2 really difficult catches as far as the turnovers are concerned, and you know, that's been the difference. We're in this game, and that's what we wanted.
The pressure from their defense was a storyline early in this game. What's been the most effective way to combat it?
Hand it off to 30. That worked pretty well the first half, and we got to keep doing that.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
All right, Evan, thanks very much. Thanks to Coach Jeff Fisher, and that's the end of the first half here at Lambeau. 14-10, the Packers on top of the Rams. We'll come back, Verizon Halftime Report, after this message and a word from your local station. This is the NFL on CBS. Getting ready for the start of the second half at Lambeau. 14-10, the Packers on top of the Rams. And now, who are you loving? Presented by McDonald's. Foles to Austin, the big play of the first half for St. Louis.
Yeah, really creative play. Just a touch pass to Austin, and he uses his creativity in the open space to get into the end zone. Really well designed, well executed.
Ian Eagle along with Dan Fouts, the rest of our NFL on CBS crew here in Green Bay. Okay, you're the Rams. You knock off Arizona last week. They were unbeaten, hand them their first loss. They're trying to do the same now against the undefeated Green Bay Packers. What has to happen in the second half for St. Louis to pull it off?
Well, I think we got it from the horse's mouth, and that being Jeff Fisher when he told Evan Washburn, give the ball to 30. Well, that's Todd Gurley, and Todd Gurley really carried the Rams in that first half with that one drive. You can see his comparison to last week. He did most of his damage last week. As the game went on, 144 yards in the fourth quarter against that defense of the Cardinals. We'll see what he can do today against the Packers.
It also affects time of possession. That means Aaron Rodgers doesn't get as many touches as he would in a normal circumstance if St. Louis is able to control the football.
And you wonder about the loss of Jordy Nelson and how much that's impacting Aaron Rodgers in that first half. Very uncharacteristic, obviously, to throw a couple of interceptions.
St. Louis kicks it off to start this second half. And the Packers will have it at the 20-yard line. Penalty marker thrown at the 41 on the Rams side of the field.
Yeah, they're going to be offsides on the kickoff.
Jordy Nelson, talented wide receiver, out for the season with a torn ACL.
Offside. Kicking team number 53. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the 20-yard line. First down, Green Bay.
Yeah, look right down the line there, and here's the guy that's offsides.
So Packers will open up at the 25-yard line to start this second half. 165 yards of offense in the first half for Green Bay. 109 from Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball. 36 Rodgers running the ball. On first down, play action. Rodgers steps up. Sends it to Rodgers. That's Richard Rodgers, who's gang tackled at the 30-yard line. It's a 5-yard pickup. We check in with Evan Washburn.
Ryan, with this Packers offense on the field, Mike McCarthy told me he's really disappointed in the energy that they played with. He felt like the time possession that the Rams had allowed the Packers to get complacent. He wants them to play faster, play with some energy. As for stopping Gurley, felt like they just had to get off their blocks. He said they're attacking our right side. We just got to win that matchup.
That time of possession is in favor of St. Louis. Packers have a 2nd and 5 here at the 30-yard line. Shotgun for Rodgers. Rodgers, pump. Rodgers loops out of trouble. And Rodgers falls down just short of the 35. Looks like they're going to give him the ball at the 35, which would be enough for the first down.
Well, you know, after trying to find a receiver, when he slides, he doesn't slide feet first. It's kind of a sideways slide, so they're going to give him all of that yardage in a real good spot. Watch as he goes down here. He will get all of that out to the 35 and a first down.
Now that's 11 seconds and change. Aaron Rodgers didn't see anything he liked downfield. Instead, turned it upfield. He's got 41 yards rushing and a long of 18 today. Lacy fights through, but there was a crowd there, and he gets back to the line of scrimmage. That's it for Eddie Lacy.
Now Lacy's struggling, as is this entire rushing attack of Green Bay so far today. 7 carries now for Lacy for just 9 yards.
Lacy had 90 yards on the ground last week in the win over San Francisco. It's a 2nd and 10 from the 35. Just underway, third quarter at Lambeau.
Heavy right.
Motion man is Jones, still looking for his first catch. Rodgers looking in that direction. Rodgers over the middle. It's caught. James Jones has got an angle. Jones taking it.
Oh, that's a touchdown. They're saying he's down inside the 1. He was across the goal line before his knees hit, but it's again a crossing route, and he just gets beyond the coverage of Joyner, and then it's a race between him and Reynolds, Rodney McLeod. That's a touchdown. Ball hit first, actually, right on the goal line. You can see the divot it takes.
How about he avoided the knee down?
Oh, great job with the left hand to keep his balance. You will not see a better effort than that. James Jones with his 5th touchdown reception of the year, and that one is one for the record books and the highlight reels. Man, what a play.
Green Bay is challenging the ruling on the field side of the goal line. We will review the play.
They ruled him down at the 1.
Now you wonder about the challenge because they're, inside the 1. They don't really need to challenge here. They're probably going to get a touchdown pretty soon, but this is so good you have to challenge it. Wow.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field has been changed. No body part other than a hand was down, therefore touchdown. Please reset the game clock to 12:41.
Fred Allen just made 80,000 people happy, but it was really Jones who did the work.
I could watch that play 100 times. How does his knee not hit the ground? He digs his right foot into the ground to keep his right knee off the ground, then uses his left hand to keep his balance. Fantastic play by James Jones.
A 65-yard touchdown on a catch and run. Jones had not had a catch all game. Back for his 2nd stint in Green Bay, and James Jones has delivered after getting released by the Giants at the end of the preseason. Let's bring in Mike Carey, our NFL rules expert. What did you see on that play, Mike?
A great athletic feat. So the ankle hits down before the ball breaks the plane, but remember the ankle is part of the foot now, and so that doesn't put him down. Then the ball comes loose, but not until it had already broken the plane of the end zone. A lot to process here. What a great play.
You're right. There's 3 or 4 things happening there. You just assume that the right knee was going to come down based on the trajectory of his fall, but he somehow maintained a little bit of balance based on the right plant and then extended the ball into the end zone.
And I'm just glad to know that the ankle is still part of the foot.
It is. It's been confirmed by Mike Carey. Thank you, Mike. Wow, what an individual effort by the veteran James Jones.
And tremendous camera work by our crew.
Kickoff through the back of the end zone. We asked Rodgers about Jones. He said, it's been amazing having him back. He's a great teammate. The chemistry reminds him of what they had going in 2012. Rodgers called it 50-50 balls, that he'll throw Jones's way. Could go one way or the other. Mike McCarthy doesn't like that term. He said, even when this guy is banged up, you'll never hear about it. You'll never hear a complaint. He just plays through it. He doesn't want any attention. He doesn't want any conversation with the trainers because he just wants to go about his business.
Well, the term is old school, and if there was a place to be an old school player, it is here in Lambeau.
Kenny Britt is in there for the St. Louis Rams. Had an injury late stages of the first half. Dump off. Lance Kendricks, Milwaukee native, hit from behind. Let's send it to New York and JB.
Ian, not a sight for any fan to see.
Little somber news right here for Kansas City. They're leading 17-3. Jamal Charles takes the head up. You can see right there on his right knee, it gives way. He's been ruled out of this game. You'll see him clutching his right knee. As I said, Kansas City does lead 17-3, but they lose in a much bigger manner by losing Jamal Charles.
Oh, boy. Iron Eagle, Dan Fouts.
Yeah, that's not an update that you want to hear. Jamal Charles, such a gifted player. On first down, Todd Gurley dealt with an ACL injury last year with Georgia. Then yesterday, if you're watching the SEC on CBS, Georgia running back Nick Chubb went down with a knee injury. We asked Gurley about Chubb, and he said, man, I just feel for him. I hope he's okay. Obviously, Gurley knows the kind of work that it takes to get back.
Yeah, and he can help him. He can tell him what he did to get back in such a short time. Less than a year ago, Gurley had a similar injury, and he's back.
Toss it to the outside. It's once again Kendricks, and he's spun down at the 39-yard line. Nick Perry is out for the Packers. A shoulder injury. He will not return. 4-yard pickup on the toss to Kendricks, who has 20 family members and friends in attendance here.
And he was happy yesterday with the big win by Wisconsin.
Squeezed out a victory over Nebraska. And now a 3rd and 3 for St. Louis. Tavon Austin lines up in the backfield. He'll shift out of there and now in motion. Walking out of the gun. Foles in trouble. Foles gets rid of it. Incomplete. Clay Matthews was draped all over Foles.
Browning number 89 is in the area.
And it's been a while since the Packers have been able to put Foles on the ground, but wouldn't you know it would be Clay Matthews as an outside linebacker because it's a passing situation. He beats a double team there. He beat Gurley and he beats Robinson on his way to the quarterback.
11 sacks last season for Matthews. He's got 3 so far this season. And it's 4th down for St. Louis, now trailing 21-10. Johnny Hecker will punt it. Micah Hyde standing at the Green Bay 15-yard line waiting for it. Hyde punt. Hyde retreats, and he is blasted at the 10-yard line. Getting down the field, Cody Davis on special teams, a 51-yard punt. No return.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency. Low fares, nothing to hide. DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by the all-new Fiat 500X crossover.
Wake up and watch with the world. For the first time ever, the NFL is streaming a game live on Yahoo. The Bills versus the Jaguars from London, Sunday morning, October 25th, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Learn more at yahoo.com/NFL stream. 1st and 10 for the Packers, just short of the 10-yard line. They've got a 21-10 advantage on St. Louis. Rodgers, shovel pass, Starks. And a flag down. Starks out across the 20. Good enough for a first down, but could be coming back. Rodgers, 12 of 19, 179 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
There were 2 flags thrown. That's why we're having so much conversation here.
Illegal block in the back, number 82, offense. After this is to the goal. First down.
And it's Richard Rodgers who is called for the penalty. Aaron Rodgers had high praise for his young tight end. They've asked a lot of him and said he's really smart. He's a Cal guy. He mentioned that. He's from Cal. And his run after catch has improved immeasurably from last year to this year.
Yeah, he used to just think about making the catch and securing it and getting down. Now he's pushing 270 pounds, according to Aaron Rodgers. He's breaking tackles now.
1st and 15. Toss it out to Cobb. Out of bounds. 6-yard pickup. Chris Long, questionable with that knee injury. We've not even seen him on the St. Louis sideline. William Hayes has been in there. TJ Lang is out for the rest of the game with a knee injury. And Josh Walker is back in at right guard. We saw Don Barclay briefly at the end of that first half. Second and 9 now for the Packers. They'll set up Rodgers in front of Starks. Starks hit from behind, falls forward across the 15 for a 5-yard pickup. It's Lindsley and Balaga creating some space.
Yeah, middle linebacker James Laurinaitis here. Watch him square up on this tackle as he fights off the block of Richard Rodgers. That's a heck of a play. You got a guy going after your legs. He sees the running back coming right at him and stops him cold.
Now, Laurinaitis, among the Rams, praising Greg Williams and the system that's been put in place. He said everybody's bought in. He gives you so much freedom. There's always a plan, but he allows you to make adjustments on the field based on circumstances in the situation. Rodgers out of the pocket, moving. And a dart towards the sideline, incomplete. Starks thought he should have grabbed that one.
Really a good defensive stop and stand now for the Rams as they'll get good field position. But here's that dart, and it goes right through the hands of James Shields. But Greg Williams, his trademark for all his defense is that they play hard. I asked him why. He says, well, I will not compromise effort or toughness. He doesn't care how much money you make, round you were drafted in, you've got to have those two components.
The punt from Mastay, averaging 43 yards per kick. Tavon Austin, contact very quickly. It was bang, bang, 47-yard punt. And Austin gets hit by Janis. St. Louis gets it back. Randall there, defensive on the special teams play for Green Bay. St. Louis takes over a 1st and 10 at its own 35. It's only an 11-point game, but you just sense that the Rams have to get something going offensively here. Gurley goes airborne, comes up short of the 40-yard line, hit by Quentin Rollins. It's a 4-yard pickup. Always interesting to learn the dynamic of how the play is called, how it's relayed. Frank Cignetti is the offensive coordinator upstairs, but Chris Wenke is the quarterback coach down on the field, and he's the one that's in the ear of Nick Foles relaying the play call.
And as a former quarterback in the NFL, that probably the biggest thing that he can give to Nick Foles besides instruction is empathy. Knowing what it's like to play the game, successes and failures.
Gurley breaks one tackle. Good run by Gurley, not enough for a first down, but getting close. 4-yard pickup. Mulumba, who's in for Perry, was the one that couldn't bring him down initially. A little pushing and shoving after the play.
And of course, a little jawing as well. It's got to go with the pushing and shoving. But this brings up a critical 3rd down and short for the St. Louis Rams.
It's a 3rd and 2. Gurley has carried the ball 20 times for 75 yards. And he remains in there on 3rd and short. We approach 7 minutes to play in the 3rd. They give it to Austin. And it doesn't work. They got a little cute. And Micah Hyde was over there defensively, no gain on the play.
Yeah, it's the fly sweep, the handoff to Austin quickly. Good play by Mulumba right there. That forces Gurley off his track. And Micah Hyde there to clean it up. Great stop there by the Packer defense.
So St. Louis comes up empty, and it's Johnny Hekker once again. Hyde, the return man, up to 12. There's the fake. Hekker looking downfield. Hekker tosses it. It's caught inside the 40. Hekker does it again. Connecting downfield to Cody Davis. Oh, back to his high school days. Johnny Hekker still knows how to sling it.
Well, he looked like Aaron Rodgers on this play. Watch him buy time after his initial receiver is covered. In fact, it's right in the middle here that Davis gets open and makes a diving catch for 20 yards. Jeff Fisher talked about stealing a possession. This one is absolutely huge. It keeps the drive alive, and the Rams are in Packer territory.
Dan, I believe that was his 4th read on the play. First and 10, just short of the 35. It's Gurley banging inside. Forward progress will get him to the 31. Mike Daniels in on that stop. It's a 6-yard pickup. B.J. Raji is dealing with a groin injury. His return questionable for Green Bay.
You know, Davis, he was one of the primary receivers on that. And when he fell down, that's when Hecker had to buy time. But Hecker stayed with him and threw a very dangerous pass into the middle of the field.
These are Hall of Fame numbers. 75% completion rate in his career.
And no interceptions.
No picks.
Yeah.
2nd and 5. Motion man is Austin. Feed it to Gurley, anticipating the contact. But Gurley wouldn't go down. There's the jawing after the play from Guyon.
Well, Guyon is number 98. He's going to fight off the block of Jamon Brown. And then stamp Gurley and tell him all about it.
22 carries, 80 yards for the rookie Gurley. It's a 3rd and 5 now for St. Louis. Foles is just 8 of 19 throwing the ball, 54 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks. From the gun, rush is coming from Matthews. Foles flushed out of the pocket, throws, nobody home.
Nobody home. That could be, he's outside of the pocket, so that it's a clear throwaway by Foles. And again, Foles.
There is no intentional grounding. The passer is outside the tackle box, and the ball went beyond the line of scrimmage.
Well, watch Matthews on the blitz on this 3rd down. He gets by Jamon Brown. That forces Foles out of the pocket.
And a heat from Neal and Peppers sets up a 50-yard field goal attempt for Greg Zuerlein. He's got a long of 52 this season, career long of 60. McQuaid snaps it, Hecker holds it. And a knuckleball is well short.
That had to be blocked at the line of scrimmage.
The Packers come up big on special teams. St. Louis stuck at 10 points.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. Find your agent at statefarm.com. And by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Another full house at Lambeau, and the Packers in front 21-10 with 4:15 to play in the 3rd quarter. Green Bay takes over, 1st and 10 at its own 40. Lacey and Kuhn are in the backfield.
Green 18!
3 receivers set for Rodgers to work with. Give it to Lacey, never quite got his footing. 2.5-yard gain on the play.
Let's go back to the blocked field goal by 6'4" Dayton Jones. Watch him jump inside of Greg Robinson. Little swim move there, and then he gets his hands up just in time. Yeah, you should celebrate. You just saved your team 3 points.
Just 12 yards rushing for Eddie Lacy. Shotgun. Rodgers hooks a pass over the middle. Nick Fairley was there. NFL Today update, JB and Boomer in New York.
Boomer just as they drew it up.
Yeah, right. Here comes Devontae Freeman. He's going to fumble the football into the end zone. Julio Jones, Johnny on the spot as they say, JB. They go for 2. They do not make it. They take the lead 12-7 over the Redskins, as you can see in the 4th quarter.
You think Dan Fouts had something like that in his playbook?
I would think so, yeah.
I think so. All right, back to Iron Eagle.
Well, JB, Dan's playbook is vast. It's a coloring book. There are crayons. 3rd and 7. Knocked away from Rodgers. That ball is recovered by St. Louis. Another Packers turnover, and the Rams take over at the 41 of Green Bay.
Rodgers stepping up into the pocket, trying to find a throwing lane.
LaMarcus Joyner on the recovery.
And it was around the corner. Robert Quinn with a chop on the arm of Rodgers. Heads up by Joyner to get on that ball. So that'll go down as a sack for Robert Quinn and a forced fumble. His 4th sack of the season. Great job of getting beyond David Bakhtiari, and locating the ball and knocking it out of the quarterback's hands.
That is 7 forced fumbles now on the season for St. Louis. They came in tied for 4th in the NFL in that category. Another opportunity for the Rams with a 1st and 10 at the Green Bay 41. Gurley up the gut for 5. Tackle made by Casey Hayward for the Packers.
It just seems like every running play for the Rams is behind Greg Robinson and the rookie Jamon Brown on the left side. Gurley really getting the hang of the timing between those two big offensive linemen, and he's hitting the hole quickly.
Most rushing yards for a Rams rookie in a game since Steven Jackson in 2004. That's what Gurley did last week. 146. Gurley taking it to the outside. And Gurley dishing out some punishment as well. Good block by Havenstein.
Well, and a good stiff arm by Gurley on Nate Palmer. They run right this time. Havenstein pins Peppers to the inside. Down goes Palmer, and then the exclamation point at the end of the run. 7 yards and a 1st down for Gurley and the Rams.
92 yards rushing for Gurley. St. Louis is over 100 as a team. They came in averaging 94.5 yards per game on the ground. Gurley again. He hurdles over a defender, and it cost him. The timing was off. Mike Neal put the initial heat on Gurley, and then the Packers were ready for him.
Yeah, really a smart defensive call that time by Dom Capers. It's a run blitz for the Packers. The penetration right there is enough to keep Gurley from even getting back to the line of scrimmage. Loses 3.
So he's down to 89 yards rushing. He's replaced by Trey Mason. Gurley gets a breather. Harkey sets up as a receiver. Under 2 minutes to go in the 3rd. Pump fake. Foles looking long. Foles, he loses the football! Popping free at the 36. And St. Louis recovers it. Peppers the first man there. And it's Mason who's got the football for the Rams.
Well, Foles has just got to speed up his internal quarterback clock here, holding the ball way too long in pressure there. You can see it's clearly a fumble as his hand came forward. The ball was not in it. And now it's a free-for-all here. There's the pressure by Peppers.
This is a 3rd and 16 now for St. Louis. 1 minute to go on the 3rd. Play clock down to 1. Timeout Rams.
Charge timeout. St. Louis. They're first.
First charge timeout to St. Louis. It's been a struggle for Nick Foles, especially on 3rd down. 3 of 11, 2 interceptions for Foles. This is a 3rd and 16 for St. Louis. 57 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Cunningham in the backfield. Protection holds up. Foles. And Bailey extending his arm but can't snag it. Right now they're looking at a 53-yard field goal attempt. Zuerlein just had one blocked from 50 yards away.
Well, his career long is 60, so he's well within his range, and very little wind today, and a very hard and fast field, so I don't think the elements are going to affect this. All they have to do is protect him, let him get the ball off.
Rams are down 21-10 from 53 yards away. It's no good. Off to the left for Greg Zuerlein. No points for the Rams.
Now, the inability to convert on 3rd downs has been a problem for the Rams the entire season. Just 4 of 14. And that negativity has affected the field goal team.
So the Packers take over. Terrific field position at their own 43-yard line. 48 seconds to play in the third.
And this is where the Packers can really bury the Rams now with a drive here for points. Rams have been turned away twice now in Packer territory. You got to wonder about their mentality, their confidence at this point.
Have to go back nearly 6 years to find a game where Aaron Rodgers turned it over 3 times. Up the middle. Finally some room for Eddie Lacy to operate. 8-yard pickup. Robert Quinn over there defensively. Good vision by Lacy.
Well, let's take a look at that vision as he sees the hole, and then he'll get low at contact. Squeezes through the hole, and now he's looking for extra yardage. The vision and then the balance after making contact with his own man. J.C. Tretter.
Play clock and the game clock are all even. And that play was not legal. Flags everywhere.
False start. Offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
You know, aside from Nick Fairley being offsides on a hard count early in the ball game,
yep.
Rams have done a good job of ignoring the cadence of Aaron Rodgers.
That'll do it for this third quarter.
The end of the third quarter.
The Packers leading the Rams 21-10. We go to the fourth from Lambeau. We'll return after this message and a word from your local station. This is the NFL on CBS. Look at some of the numbers through 3 quarters of play. Foles, a couple of interceptions. Rodgers has been picked off twice. He does have 2 touchdowns. Gurley backing up his strong performance from last week. 89 yards on the ground. Lacy has been held in check. And the St. Louis receivers have not been a huge factor. Jones has the one big catch, 65 yards and a touchdown for Green Bay. We open up the fourth. The Packers are 2nd and 7 at their own 46. Rodgers straight back. Fires. It's complete. Down to the 42. Squeezes it into James Jones for a first down into St. Louis territory, working against Tremaine Johnson.
Yeah, this might be one of those 50-50 calls right here. Look at the great coverage by Johnson, but the ball placement away and low gives Jones a chance to make the catch as he did.
So a new set of downs for the Packers to work with, just underway in the fourth. Lacy in the backfield. Pistol formation. And they gang up on Lacy. Forward progress will get him to the 38. 4-yard pickup for Eddie Lacy.
But he showed real patience that time. It hasn't been easy for him today, but that time he did not try to hit the hole too quickly. He allowed it to develop and then picked up 4.
They have 81 yards on the ground. They've had over 120 in each game. Dump off. Lacy. Little spin by Lacy. It's a first down for Green Bay to the 30-yard line. 8 yards on the catch and run.
This is one of those where you better be aware, because Rodgers is going to look for the entire field here, and Lacy setting down right over the ball is a perfect target for the quick release.
And Green Bay moving quickly here with a 21-10 lead.
16. We 19.
Shotgun Rodgers. Over the middle, a bullet is dropped by Richard Rodgers in a matchup with T.J. McDonald.
And he's going to go a long way after he should have catch this ball. This is a perfect pass right out in front, leading him perfectly, and it just goes right through his hands. That'll give a quarterback a headache.
Second and 10 for Green Bay. We see this formation once again, but this time it starts in back of Rodgers. Play clock is down to 2. Fake it. Rodgers. Flip to Richard Rodgers. Spilled out. hit by LaMarcus Joyner. I know you marvel at the throwing motion of Aaron Rodgers.
Well, it's just so perfect. He's always on balance, but it doesn't look like his feet are ever on the ground. He at times throws when he's off the ground, as he does here, but he's got such strong arms and wrist that he can just flick that ball outside and get a completion.
He told us it's changed a little bit over the years. Good coaches in high school, Ron Odell, that's Norv and Ron Turner's nephew at Butte College, Craig Rigsby and Jeff Jordan played a big role, and then at Cal with Jeff Tedford. Rodgers hit and brought down. Rodgers thought he had a clean lane to work with, but Michael Brockers was there, and he picks up a sack on the play. Brockers and Rodgers sharing a laugh.
Well, Brockers picks up his first sack of the season. Number 90, working right up the middle against the center, Corey Linsley. And Rodgers goes down again.
This will be a 47-yard attempt for Mason Crosby. He missed a 44-yard field goal last week, his first miss of the season. This one, he gets it through, but a flag on the play.
And I think the Rams may have been offsides or lined up in the neutral zone.
Illegal use of the hands, hands to the face, number 82, the kicking team. 10-yard penalty, still fourth down.
Now that's a huge penalty. That'll take the Packers out of field goal range, won't it?
Well, it would be a 57-yard attempt unless they want to try one of those. Mason Crosby's career long is 58.
Cody Davis with a face full of Richard Rodgers' left hand. Yeah, that bring out the punt team. How big is that penalty on Richard Rodgers? He drops a pass that would have been at least a first down on this drive, and now he takes 3 points off the board with that penalty.
Instead of 24-10, it's 21-10, and now Tim Mastay is on to punt it. Trying to place this one inside the 10. Tavon Austin, dangerous return man, will never even touch the football. It goes out to the 20. It's a 39-yard punt, but a net of just 19, and St. Louis hanging around in the fourth. This is the 7th year of the NFL's A Crucial Catch campaign. Nearly every item visible on the field will be auctioned off. The NFL donates 100% of the proceeds it receives from the sale of pink merchandise and items online. They've raised more than $8 million for the American Cancer Society. Join in the fight against breast cancer. Learn more on October 13th. Gurley. Big run for Gurley. And a burst for St. Louis. Finally pushed by Demarius Randall. Gurley goes 55 yards. The explosive nature of Gurley.
Remember that Roger Saffold was injured, and his replacement Garrett Reynolds with a key block there, and then Gurley makes a miss in the secondary. He's looking around for Packers to catch him. They finally do, but what a huge play by Todd Gurley. Well over 100 yards now rushing.
It's a $144 for Gurley. Second straight game over 100 yards rushing. But a flick. Austin loops around. Austin, dynamic in the open field, leans forward to the 10. It's a 15-yard gain for Tavon Austin.
Couple of good blocks for Austin on the outside. Lance Kendricks and then Kenny Britt. There's Kendricks, 88. He gets out in front, levels a Packer there. Britt takes care on the outside of Randall. And it's a 1-2 punch of Gurley and Austin that have the Rams at the 10-yard line.
First and goal for St. Louis. Nearly 100 yards rushing on the season for the wide receiver, Tavon Austin. From the 10. Mason in the backfield. Give it to Mason. He goes down. Mason gets up and gets yardage. We'll pick up 2 on the play.
Yeah, he got tripped by Garrett Reynolds, his guard. Well, Gurley has caught his breath, and he's back in the lineup. I would make sure that Tavon Austin is out there, too, if I were the Rams, just because he's such a distraction and a good decoy, especially in the running attack.
Single setback Gurley. St. Louis trying to cut into this Green Bay lead. We're down to 9:44 to play in the fourth from Lambeau. They crowd the line. Give it to Gurley. Taking it to the outside. And Gurley out of bounds. A 1-yard pickup. Clinton Dix over there defensively. And Todd Gurley with a stiff arm.
Now Gurley showing everything he's got in his repertoire here. Bouncing to the outside and then using the straight arm again, this time on Clinton Dix. But here's the key block. Jared Cook gets Gurley the corner, and he takes it to the 7.
3rd and goal. Shotgun for Foles. Foles pulls the trigger. Tip and picked off. Deflected again. Clinton Dix with the INT. That's some serious defense.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by McDonald's, now serving all-day breakfast. Sheraton, where actions speak louder. And by Cialis.
You think about the missed opportunities for St. Louis. It's Green Bay that makes the play. Clinton Dix with the interception, but missed field goals, 50-yarder, 53-yarder from Zuerlein. And then with St. Louis deep in Green Bay territory, no points. Picked off in the end zone. Rodgers zips one out for James Starks and picks up 3 yards.
Well, the play is made by Joe Thomas, but the ball is thrown behind Lance Kendricks. Thomas pops it up in the air, and then Clinton Dix, who is trailing on the play, locates the ball and then secures the catch, turns over quickly onto his back to protect the ball and make sure the Packers get possession. Great play.
Ready.
3rd pick for Foles. That's a career high. Starks. No gain on the play. 8:22 and counting left in the 4th quarter. Eugene Sims and Mark Barron with the collision on Starks.
Yeah, you talked about the missed opportunities for the Rams. 6 points in field goals, and perhaps at worst a field goal from where they had to snap that ball at the 7-yard line on that last play before the interception.
Now, Jeff Fisher said the thing about Nick Foles, mistakes don't bother him. He's so positive, and he shares that positivity in the huddle.
Now he's going to have to now if the Rams are going to come back.
3rd and 7. Chris Long is out with a knee injury for St. Louis. Rodgers trying to tuck. Now toss. Incomplete. And that one almost picked off. Starks in a matchup with Barron.
Yeah, Barron doing a good job. Remember, he started at linebacker today for the Rams. He stayed with the running back out of the backfield, Starks. It seems like every pass now is a dramatic moment with the ball bouncing around everywhere. Guys diving for it.
Aaron Rodgers gets some extra film study, and he looks up at the big screen before he walks off to the sideline to see the replay. Haste running to Kayvon Austin. This is returnable from the 24. Austin is out of bounds, 52-yard punt and a 6-yard return. Frustration from Rodgers, couple of picks, but his team still up 21-10 in the 4th. Week 5 continues later today on CBS for some of you on Fox. Then tonight, Sunday Night Football on NBC. Tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN. On a first down run, Gurley is denied. He lost the ball at the end, but grabbed it right away. Pennell there defensively.
Well, too many miscues for the Rams here in the second half. Zuerlein gets that one blocked by Dayton Jones, and now he's going to hit one wide left from 53 yards out. And now the real killer, though, from the 7-yard line. Foles throws it behind Kendricks, and Clinton Dix makes the pick.
Now, St. Louis not moving at a fast pace here. They're down to 6:57 to play in the 4th. They're down by 11. No sense of urgency for the Rams. Gurley remains in there. Gurley gets the call, finds a running lane. Gurley takes it across the 40-yard line for a first down, and he ran into Clinton Dix to the tune of 11 yards.
Well, here's Clinton Dix, the free safety here for the Packers. And he's got to come all the way up and try to square up on Gurley. Gurley gets his shoulder into him, rolls forward for a first down. But you're right about the amount of time they're taking between plays, going back to the huddle and calling the plays instead of at the line of scrimmage.
Line of scrimmage is now the 41. Gurley squeezes through, gets driven. After the gain of 3, he got hit hard on the play by Guyan. We are under 6 minutes to play now. Gurley is at 159 yards rushing.
And Nick Foles, 54 yards passing. 8 completions out of 22.
30 carries for Gurley. Jeff Fisher said, hey, I don't want to give him the football 30 times. But then at the end said, unless I have to.
Well, he has to. He may get 40 today.
2nd and 7 now. Benny Cunningham is in from the pistol. Foles. Sideline throw. Dropped. It's Brian Quick. And it's incomplete.
Why did he jump? He jumps for this ball, and the ball's not high. It's thrown right at eye level, or maybe even lower. And for some reason, Foles puts it perfectly to him, but Quick is going to jump up in the air. And by jumping up in the air, it does change your eyesight just a little bit. And that ball bounced right off his face mask. 5 straight incompletions now for Foles.
It's a 3rd and 7 for St. Louis. Foles fires it, complete. Out across midfield, Jared Cook finally getting involved here, and the spot will be favorable enough for a first down. Needed 7, got 8.
Well, he's using his big body here. Watch him go up high because he has to. First catch of the day, and that's a huge one for St. Louis. Foles hung in the pocket really strong that time.
We are under 5 minutes to play now. St. Louis is in Green Bay territory with a fresh set of downs. Gurley in the backfield. They fake it to him. Foles out of trouble. Heaves it downfield. Incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10. Tonight, what does President Obama have to say about Vladimir Putin, Donald Trump, and Hillary Clinton? Find out on 60 Minutes tonight. St. Louis has run 27 plays in Packers territory, but only 10 points for their efforts. 0 in the second half. Single setback is Gurley. 4:40 remaining in the 4th. Foles in trouble. Engulfed by Matthews.
It was really no surprise to the Rams. Walks up into the line of scrimmage between the guard and center, Barnes and Reynolds. Watch him just step right up here. And they both let him go. Reynolds looking to his right as Matthews goes by him on the left, and Foles has no shot. Plus he absorbs a big hit as Matthews drives him legally to the ground.
This Green Bay D is for real. It's a 3rd and 18 for Foles and the Rams. Flip it underneath. Benny Cunningham to the 45. There's only 3:48 left in the game. You've got to go for it.
Absolutely, and that's a great play by Cunningham because he gained about 10 extra yards after he caught that ball. And now a Packer is hurt, so this will stop the clock and benefit the Rams.
It's a 4th and 7 coming up. Casey Hayward is the injured Packer, starting corner. We'll step aside.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Audi. Challenge all givens. And by Subway Restaurants. Subway. Eat fresh.
That injury to Hayward allowed Jeff Fisher to think about the circumstances, and he sends Greg Zuerlein on for a 63-yard attempt. Zuerlein, the kick is no good. He had the leg, but it was off to the left. And it's still 21-10, Green Bay.
Boy, he had the distance, as you said, Ian. His third miss of the day, one blocked and two that have gone a long way, but both have missed just left. Look how close that comes to being a 63-yarder.
And how about that decision by Jeff Fisher? What's your perspective?
Number 73 is an eligible receiver. Number 73 is eligible.
Well, with the score as it is, that would have made it a one-score game if he makes it. Fourth down and what was it, about 8 yards, 5 yards to go? Worth a shot. I mean, Zuerlein has a huge leg, as we just saw. I think it's a good decision by Jeff Fisher.
He missed it to the left, and Green Bay takes over, trying to ice this game with 3:23 to play. Rams have 2 timeouts remaining. Lacy across the 45, brought down by McDonald. It's a 3-yard gain for Lacy. Extra offensive lineman here for the Packers. J.C. Treader is the 6th offensive lineman. Well, your weekend starts here. The Falcons take on the Saints Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. Atlanta, one of 6 undefeated teams this season. Green Bay is part of that group. New Orleans has won 6 of its last 9 against the Falcons. New Orleans hosting Atlanta Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, the most surprising division in the NFL. NFC South.
2nd and 7 now for Green Bay. No surprise, it's Lacy again. Fighting for yardage and no gain on the play. Mark him down at the 44. And a timeout called by St. Louis. It'll be 3rd down for the Packers with 3:13 to play.
Now, how many points have the Rams left out on the field today? Three missed field goals and an interception in the end zone, and they had the ball at the 7-yard line.
Now, this is a team that is looking for its first non-losing season since 2006. And you can see that there are pieces in place, but the proof is in the pudding on Sundays.
Well, and you've got, when you're playing a team like the Packers, you can't afford to leave points out there. This Packer defense really improved over last year, and Clay Matthews making the play of the game perhaps with that 8-yard sack. And it looked like the Rams had something going on that last drive.
St. Louis has no timeouts remaining. 3:13 left on the clock. It's a 3rd and 7 for the Packers. Rodgers on the toss to Richard Rodgers. Oh, Rodgers going upstairs. McLeod got kicked by Rodgers, who climbed the imaginary ladder for 18 yards.
Yeah, trying to go Edwin Moses on us. Here's Montgomery clearing things out. And there's Rodgers with the hurdle right into the face of Rodney McLeod. And that play will do it. Packers have 12 men in the huddle.
So that 1st down allows Green Bay to eat up more clock. They'll have to absorb that penalty, but Aaron Rodgers on the day, some things that you just don't normally see from him, especially here at Lambeau. But all that matters is what's the final score. This would be 12 straight wins at home for the Packers.
And they're thinking about, at the end of the year, the playoffs and playing home playoff games here at Lambeau.
1st and 15, James Starks is in. And it's Kuhn. Fan participation when John Kuhn gets the football. It's a 2-yard pickup. And the clock will wind down to the 2-minute warning. St. Louis has no timeouts remaining. And Green Bay is in complete control on a day that Todd Gurley put up 159 yards on the ground. The Rams could not cash in on scoring opportunities. They put up 10 points in the 2nd quarter, 3 missed field goals in the second half and an interception in the end zone. Nick Foles picked off by Clinton Dix. Matthews leading this Packer defense, and Green Bay is making some headlines for what they do on that side of the ball. Well, apparently it's Clay time here in Green Bay, and don't forget, coming up, NFL Today update presented by FanDuel, time permitting. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cowher, latest NFL scores and highlights. A couple of running plays here. It would take the clock down to 30 seconds. Kuhn in front of Lacy. Lacy gets the call. Wrapped up at the 28 by Quinn. So for St. Louis, a bye next week, then home for Cleveland. Week 7, the Rams will fall to 2-3. The Packers remain undefeated, improved to 5-0. They're home for San Diego. Then they'll have a bye week 7.
A lot of positive signs for the Rams in this ball game, especially defensively, the way they were able to keep down Aaron Rodgers and the Packer offense, but a lot of question marks about that offensive line and inability to give Nick Foles time to throw.
St. Louis playing without one of their playmakers on defense, Alec Ogletree. Ty Montgomery busting free down the sideline. Montgomery out of bounds.
Yeah, he stepped out at that 16-yard line. What an effort, though. Rodgers seeing the single coverage on the outside, and then the rookie will step out there clearly. But a great effort nonetheless as he gets into the end zone.
Out of bounds, sets up 4th and 1. Tremaine Johnson and Rodney McLeod missed chances to bring down Montgomery. And Mason Crosby on for a 35-yard field goal attempt. And a timeout called with 1:07 to play. Don't forget, coming up next, Tom Brady and the Patriots head to Dallas to take on the Cowboys or the Broncos. Battle the Raiders. Check your local listings, the NFL, on CBS. Aaron Rodgers' day, 19 of 30, 241 yards, 2 touchdowns, and his first 2 interceptions of the season. Crosby on the season is 7 out of 8. 35-yard attempt is good. And a penalty marker down.
You can't do that. You can't leap over a player like that. Darren Bates coming right up the middle. This is a safety issue. They're going to call a holding against the Rams that gave Bates the opening to make that leap.
It was on a 4th and 1.
There is no foul on the play. The field goal is good.
So put the 3 points on the board.
Heck of an effort by Bates as he times the snap perfectly and did not make contact. If he makes contact with one of the Packer blockers, that's a penalty, but he cleared the hurdle, if you will, but did not affect the kick from Crosby.
So 24-10, the Packers in front of the Rams. Jeff Fisher and his team will head back to St. Louis and try to come up with a game plan for Cleveland week 7. Don't forget, bonus coverage is coming up because the Browns are in a tight one with the Baltimore Ravens. 2:32 to play. 30-27, Cleveland in front.
Good comeback by the Browns on the road.
Crosby will kick it off. Stedman Bailey is the deep man. He won't touch it. Our eye-opener here at Lambeau. Rodgers, resilient. He's worked through some mistakes. And Green Bay has made life very difficult for Nick Foles. A number of leafs at Lambeau. Packers comfortably in front. Just over a minute to play. Benny Cunningham in the backfield. Green Bay had 12 men on the field.
12 players on the defense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That'll be the 7th penalty against the Packers, costing them 67 yards. 8 penalties against the Rams today, 40 yards. So 1st and 5 for St. Louis, down by 14. Foles has been picked off 3 times. And he drops it in the bucket. Stedman Bailey tripped up. And the clock is rolling. No timeouts left. 48 seconds left. A touchdown there could have made this interesting.
Tremendous tackle. Beautiful throw by Foles and catches on the money by Bailey. But how about that tackle?
Clinton Dix saves the touchdown. 69-yard reception. 33 seconds left. And St. Louis spikes it to stop the clock.
Well, Dix had the key interception earlier in this quarter. Total sellout, grabbing that right foot and causing the trip of Bailey. And down he goes, and so may have the Rams hopes, but that would have made it a little bit interesting.
You scored the touchdown, onside kick.
Absolutely.
You plant a seed of doubt in the minds of the Packers.
Well, and with the type of arm that Foles has, anything can happen. Beautiful throw by Nick Foles.
Remember, Green Bay threw it on 3rd down. They could have used more clock. Foles will sky it through the back of the end zone. And Foles takes another shot from this Green Bay defense. It's 3rd and goal for the Rams.
Well, that's been the story of the day for Nick Foles and this Packer defense. They have been in the backfield, and when they get there, they have punished Foles time after time.
That time it was Mike Neal delivering the blow. 3rd and goal for the Rams. 28 seconds to play. Foles kicked off for the 4th time today. It is Quinton Rollins, his 2nd. And that will do it.
Well,
Rough day at the office for Nick Foles.
Yeah, Rollins' first interception resulted in a touchdown. And if he can keep his feet here, he might have had another one. Trying to squeeze that ball into Tavon Austin. Packers were all over it. And Rollins, 2nd round pick, gets his 2nd pick of the day.
All the Packers have to do is take a knee. Nick Foles, 11 of 30, 141 yards, a touchdown, and 4 interceptions. Green Bay Packers improved to 5-0. The Lambeau dominance continues. That's 12 straight wins at home for the Packers. They defeat the Rams 24-10, the final. For Dan Fouts and Evan Washburn, I'm Ian Eagle saying so long from Green Bay.